Hi guys and welcome to MikeLab. In today's video I want to extract some pure silicon dioxide from sand. Silicon dioxide is a non-metal oxide which can be easily turned into elemental silicon, which I want to try this in a future video. So to start to make silicon dioxide I'm gonna need some sand that I got it from a pile of sand from outside. After I get the dirt I sieve it to remove any bigger rocks and to make the sand much more fine. After I sieved the dirt, I was left with a very fine pile of sand which is ready to be processed. Played with sand, I will need to measure out to see how much sand I have and to calculate later how much silicon dioxide I will manage to get from this sand. After I measure out, I was left with 270 grams of sand. For the next step, I will need to wash the sand with some distilled water to clean it up. I have made a total of 3 washing because my sand was pretty clean. After the third wash, I poured 200 milliliters of concentrated hydrochloric acid to remove any organic things. The bubble that you see in the beaker is because the hydrochloric acid that I can get in my country is a sort of cleaning stuff. Now I just have to let it sit for a bit. After about 3 hours of waiting, the sand looked much more whiter and the hydrochloric acid turned yellow. To ensure the hydrochloric acid react with all the organic things, I decant it off and dilute the rest. After I diluted and washed away the hydrochloric acid, I will need to dry it off because for the next step the sand needs to be very dry. After I dried the sand with the power of the sun, I put it in a pot and added some sodium hydroxide. After, I put it on my old rusty gas stove and start heating it. What it should happen in there, the silicon dioxide react with the sodium hydroxide forming sodium silicate and water. After I made this procedure, I left the pot to cool down and I scraped away the composition that was in a pot and I poured in a beaker. The composition was very hard, so I dissolved it with some distilled water. Doing this, I dissolve all of the sodium silicate, which is the compound that I need for the next step. After, I decant the solution into another beaker. For the next step, I will need to add some sulfuric acid to the solution to form something called silicic acid. The silicic acid is the compound that is formed in the beaker, which is a bit gelatinous. And after I do all of these things, I failed. I don't know why, but I have an idea that I think I didn't add so much sodium hydroxide and that caused that. So I repeat all of the previous steps, but this time I added more sodium hydroxide and left it more. After I repeated all of the previous steps, I was left with a much more concentrated solution of sodium silicate, and this time when I added the sulfuric acid, the silicic acid was formed. I needed to add the sulfuric acid slow and carefully because I added an excess of sodium hydroxide into the pot to be sure all of the sand reacted with it. After I was done pouring the sulfuric acid, I take the beaker from earlier that I said I failed and pour it in this beaker because I saw some silicic acid floating around. After I was done with this, I try to filter the mixture to remove as many water that I can but this didn't work because the thickness of the mixture. So after that I take a pot and put all the thick mixture in it. After I put the mixture from the improvised funnel, I put the rest from the beaker. After I was done to put the mixture in the pot, I take my old rusty gas stove and put the pot onto it and start heating it. What is should happening here? The silicic acid decomposed at the high temperature in silicon dioxide and water. After about an hour of waiting, the mixtures look like this. And now I have to wait to see how much silicon dioxide I managed to get from 270 grams of sand. After I managed to weigh it, I was left with 79 grams of nearly pure silicon dioxide. So there is nearly pure silicon dioxide. If you like this video, I will please subscribe, leave a comment and a like. Thanks for watching.